Hi everyone, it's Eric from ecartman12.blogspot.com and welcome to my full review of the Huawei Ascend G300. A big thanks must go to Vodafone for sending me this handset over to review. You can purchase this handset on their website on pay-as-you-go for £100, so this is a budget handset. Now before I actually kick off this review, I'd just like to say that I'm recording the audio in this video with the Drift External HD microphone. Okay, so let's get into the review. Now, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the specs, and if you want to see a product tour, please check out my last video, which was an unboxing and product tour of this phone. Okay, so it's got a 4-inch screen running at a resolution of 480 by 800. It's got a 1 GHz processor running Android version 2.3 Gingerbread, and it's also got a 5 megapixel camera on the back. It's not capable of capturing HD video, and I'll get more onto the camera performance in a minute. And it's also got all the sensors you would need in a smartphone nowadays. Now, let's first talk about the build quality. Now, the build quality is really quite good. It is plastic, as you can see, but it's not cheap plastic. It's plastic, but it seems like it's quite solid in the hand. This back part gives you this sort of illusion that it's sort of brushed sort of metal, when really it is plastic. But I like the sort of technique they're doing here to make it look like it's metal, when even though it's not. The bottom over here and over here are obviously plastic. They even look like plastic, but it adds a sort of nice design element to the phone. And over here is a little hatch that you use to take the battery cover off. Now, here's also the volume rockers as well, and see if you can pick that up on camera. As you can see, volume rockers are a bit small, but they do work quite well. Now let's turn the phone on, and this is the lock screen you're presented with. If you swipe up, it'll take you to the phone, this way it'll unlock the screen, this way it'll take you to messages, and this way it'll take you to the camera. So I like the fact that it's actually utilising all of those sort of full features on the lock screen. Okay, so this is actually the home screen, and as I said, it's running on the screen is running at a resolution of 480 by 800, and the text is really quite crisp. Very nice colour rendition, and it really is quite nice. And as you can see, this is on full brightness I've set it to, and even with my studio lights hitting it, it really is quite nice. And viewing angles aren't the best, but it is more than adequate, and especially for this price point, you really shouldn't grumble at that. Now let's talk about the bad aspects of this phone. There's only a few that I've spotted, but they do tend to be quite irritating. One is that the touchscreen lags. Now, as you can see, it's running quite nicely right now, and if you're not keen on this launcher, you can get a third-party launcher from the Play Store. But if you swipe between screens, or say if you go onto YouTube, what you'll notice is that when you're swiping up and down, sometimes the screen will lag. It's sort of, as you can see, it's done that a little bit just over there. It's sort of dismissing the fact right now, but there's times where I just swipe up and down, and it lags, and instead of swiping, it accidentally goes into one of the YouTube videos. That is something that's really been irritating me whilst I've been using this mobile phone. The touchscreen is not as responsive as you would get on touchscreens nowadays. It might just be this review unit, but in my experiences, that's what I've been experiencing. And the handset for a 1 GHz processor does not exactly feel as snappy or as high grade as a 1 GHz processor would. It feels like there's a bit of lag there. And that's not to do with the Android operating system, because the lag that I'm noticing, you don't really notice with other mobile phones, especially the other sort of budget phones that run, say, 2.1 Eclair, or even 2.3 Gingerbread for that matter. So that is a bit of a problem right there, that, you know, the touchscreen is not as responsive. Another thing I didn't like was the stock keyboard that you get that is integrated into this mobile phone. As you can see, here's the keyboard, and let's just write down, this is a test. And as you can see, it just got rid of, there we are. As you can see, it just got rid of, this is A, and just put a full stop there. The autocorrection on this keyboard is absolutely hideous. So what I always tend to do is tap and hold, go to select input method, and go to Android keyboard. And this Android keyboard I got from the Android marketplace. It's really the ice cream sandwich keyboard you get with ice cream sandwich. And this keyboard is actually much better. This is a test. I'm going to have to sort of correct that. It's done. This is a T test, but the actual keyboard on getting the ice cream sandwich keyboard on this is actually much better than actually using the stock sort of touchpad keyboard that it came with. And since I'm on the text messaging area, I'll just say right now that using this phone for text and phone calls is absolutely great. So no problems for using this for incoming and outgoing call quality or for text messages. Okay, now the camera. It's got a 5 megapixel camera on the back. It's not HD video, so I'm just going to tell you the video is very, very sort of bad, you could say. When you're using it outside, it's alright, but you might as well even want to bring your pocket cam rather than use this. But for the 5 megapixel photos, they're okay. They're not really 5 megapixel standards. For example, my HTC Desire S can capture much better quality photos than this, and that even has a 5 megapixel camera. The flash is very useful. I like the positioning of it and everything. It makes the back all look very nice, but the camera quality is not particularly impressive. The photos aren't really anything that impressive. So, those are really the bad points out of the way. Now, let's actually get on to the good stuff. Now, as I said, the build quality is quite nice. I really do like the sort of textured feel that you say you sort of get on the back. Even though it's plastic, it doesn't really feel like cheap plastic. It sort of feels like more high-grade plastic. So for £100, that is quite good. Normally you get cheap plastic, like say on other budget mobile phones, but this is actually quite good. I like the way it's built. The screen, despite it not being as responsive as I would have liked, is still very nice for media consumption. It's absolutely fantastic. Very crisp text, as you can see. The viewing angles aren't the best, but they are still more than acceptable. And and the screen for multimedia, I really do love. I really do love watching YouTube videos back on this screen. Another thing I like is the battery life. Now, battery life on this mobile phone is pretty much standard. You're going to get a day of use on this, and that's if you're using it for medium to heavy use, you'll get a day. If you do low use, you'll probably get about a day and a half. So this mobile phone is pretty, not the best for battery life, but it's pretty standard, as I'd say. Okay, now the next thing I liked was the call quality. When you're using this as a phone for incoming and outgoing call quality with the microphone at the bottom, it is really, really good. I really can't fault it. It has been working very, very nicely. So even the recipient says there's no problems with the sound quality coming from the microphone at the bottom. So they've done a good, very good job of using this as an actual phone. The sound quality is great. Not the best that you get on, say, higher-end smartphones, but it's more than acceptable. And overall, I still have been enjoying myself, considering I've been getting quite a lot of joy out of this for £100. You can get other smartphones on the market for about £100, but I still really do like this one. I would choose this one over the others. The others, even though they're more low-powered compared to this one, they do seem to be a bit more responsive on the touchscreen, but then again, I said that might be just this review unit. But it is actually working out really, really nicely when I actually use it for media consumption, for using this to control my Samsung TV, Twitter, Facebook, email. I've really been enjoying myself. Even text messages have been really, really good. And since you've got the Play Store as well, you can enjoy yourself by downloading a whole host of different applications on here, which extends the use of this mobile phone. I think I heard that Ice Cream Sandwich might come to this phone in the future. This is actually running gingerbread right now, but if this gets Ice Cream Sandwich in the future, that would be great. It should undoubtedly get Ice Cream Sandwich in the future. If it doesn't get an official update, then there'll be ROMs on developers' websites. So, I can definitely recommend this phone. £100, you can't really grumble at it. You're getting more than your money's worth, and it really is quite a bargain when you actually think about it. So, thank you guys very much for watching. This has been my review of the Huawei Ascend G300. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Eric from ecartman12.blogspot.com, and I'll see all of you in the next video.